Hello and welcome. My name is Jim Eastwood. I'm the Global Sales Director for Travel Counsellors. And our mission at Travel Counsellors is to be the most caring travel company in the world. So in that vein, we have a broadcast today and a jam-packed couch to support the world's longest serving travel company in the world that unfortunately in the recent past has went to failure, and that has left a lot of people wondering about what next. A lot of people wondering about where next, and a lot of people just wanting options and support. So if we're the most caring travel company in the world, we want to be able to care for all those affected employees, whether it's customers who had bookings, customers who booked with us or with other providers, and anybody made redundant or no longer employed by Thomas Cook's. We want to provide options. And we think we've got the ability to do that with some experts on the couch that I'm joined with as well. And let me introduce you to who we've got. We have got Rebecca Whitmore, who is a current travel counsellor within Travel Counsellors, operating as flexibly working as a TC, as we call him. We have got Ashley Butler. Hey Ashley, from our new franchise team as well, who onboards and recruits numerous TCs throughout the year as well. And we've got Leanne Stant, who deals with our colleague experience and the engagement of the colleagues who work at head office as well. Please stay tuned throughout the show and look out for vital information about ways that you can get involved, not only in this show, but after this show as well. But I can't help but think about people that have got experience in this area and have got relatable experience to maybe what you're thinking and feeling right now. And we want to position ourselves as someone that truly cares for you at this moment in time. So Leanne, what would you say to those affected by recent announcements at Thomas Cook's?
First of all, I want to just reiterate what you're saying about how we truly care. For me, it was reliving 2 years ago. So obviously being part of the TC community, we were kind of put on alert for a possibility of extra support that the travel counsellors and their clients needed. I went back 2 years where I was sat in a pub actually with my husband, and it was our anniversary, and we kind of felt a rumbling that Monarch Airlines were going to go into administration. My glass is always full, not even 2/3 full, it's always full. And I was like, no, it's not. I've been with the company 20 odd years, it's going to be fine. They say this all the time. I managed a team of 40 people, and I was kind of saying to them, keep your chin up, we're going to be okay. We're getting new uniforms, new routes, it's going to be fantastic. And then of course, 3 o'clock in the morning, once the last flight had landed into Manchester, we were met with an email from our CEO at the time to say that the company had gone into administration. So my full glass kind of went, and I kind of went into shock. I went upstairs to my husband. I'd had a few hours sleep and came downstairs, and I went upstairs to Rob and I said, babe, it's gone. And he was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And it was that made me think, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? I've been within a company that I loved for such a long time. I met my husband there, I had my children whilst I was there, I met my best friends there, family members there, and all of a sudden Monarch was no more. And I remember my mum ringing me and saying, so what happens now? What happens with the passengers? Can they go to Monarch? I went, Mum, there's no Monarch. Monarch's gone. And it was that made me think, oh my God, Monarch is actually gone. So when we heard the news of Thomas Cook, and the unfortunate terrible, awful news that Thomas Cook had gone into administration again, I was straight back to the day one when it happened to me. What I did see this time round, which I didn't see the first time round, was the care and attention that came from Travel Counsellors. I work as part of the crisis team here, and we worked all through the night tirelessly looking after our travel counsellors customers, extra customers, potential customers, and each other, and we worked tirelessly throughout the night to make sure that was achieved. I've never felt love like it. We talk about living and breathing the care values here. We absolutely do that, and I can't express how much our thoughts go out to all the Thomas Cook community, and even Thomas Cook being TC, we're TC, and it's kind of like which TC are we talking about right now? Because we all feel like one. We have visitors. We had visitors yesterday from the Thomas Cook community and today, and we've had really good conversations with the guys. Although we are a tour operators as travel counsellors, we are part of the same community. Travel is travel. We're all family members. It doesn't matter which airline, which tour operator we work for. We work in an absolutely amazing environment, and it's just the pain and the heartfelt behaviours that you're seeing is tangible. So yeah, Jim.
Well, listen, we pride ourselves on caring, don't we, as travel counsellors? And I'm sure as travel professionals you have that in every fibre of your being as well. But we're a terribly inclusive, flexible working business as well. We have over 400 colleagues, employees dotted across our 7 global locations, with the head office being in Manchester, who are support staff employed by travel counsellors to support a network of nearly 1,900 travel counsellors across those 7 countries, with the majority in the UK. And when you think about the almost 1,300 travel counsellors we have in the UK, in the last 5 years, a fifth of our new travel counsellors have come from Thomas Cook's. So we're all travel professionals. We all care deeply and passionately about travel. But it's not surprising to know that many of our existing travel counsellors and our colleagues in head office come from a Thomas Cook's background. And I am delighted to be joined by a current travel counsellor, ex-Thomas Cook's, and joined us last June as a TC, Rebecca Whitmore. Rebecca, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome onto the couch, and thank you for joining as well.
Oh, thank you for having me. So yeah, as you mentioned, my career history is a blend of working in high street stores and now, as you mentioned, with travel counsellors. So I've got an experience of the differences between what it's like on the high street compared to life here, and the family and the community that we have here. And my roots are very much with Thomas Cook, and I will miss them. And they are a piece of English history and heritage. So it's such a shame that they've gone, and I really feel for all the staff that are in this position whereby now they've got to explore other opportunities. And I'd like to give them my opinions and my advice that maybe this could be the next step for them to come to travel counsellors.
So at one stage, Rebecca, you obviously worked in Thomas Cook's, and you can tell us about where that was and for how long that was. I'm sure people can relate. And there's 0 degrees of separation, isn't there, in the travel industry? We all seem to know one another from past experience, and none more so than Thomas Cook's, as we've mentioned. But when you talk about your Thomas Cook's experience as well, you at some stage said that you wanted to do something for yourself and by yourself, but in a community and in a supportive environment that would allow you to flourish and, most importantly, support your customers and clients in the best way possible. So tell us about your background and experience and how you made the decision to become a travel counsellor.
So I think what Thomas Cook initially instilled in me was that customer care and customer service. And Thomas Cook from day one was delivering experiences to his customers and the guests that were travelling with him. And that's exactly what we value here at Travel Counsellors is the service and the care and looking after our clients. So I think for me now, to be a self-employed business owner, I've got the best of both worlds, whereby I can grow my future and grow my business the way that I want it to, but I certainly couldn't do it alone. I can't do it without the Travel Counsellors brand and that brand name back in my business. For me, it's the perfect partnership.
Well, you're also, I don't know if this is the right expression, but I want the viewers especially to feel what I can feel in the couch and what I've felt over the last couple of days since the failure of Thomas Cook. We have had people coming in from local Thomas Cook stores into our head office here in Manchester just for a chat and a coffee, and just to provide a supportive environment at a time of uncertainty and ambiguity. And I think the strapline has fast become that you're amongst friends here. Hopefully you get that vibe and that feel from who's on the couch today. But certainly the people from Thomas Cook stores in the building over the last 2 days, and at our upcoming Thomas Cook Care events. Please stay tuned for those event dates and details as well. But before we bring those up, it's important that Rebecca gives you an insight into being once where you are now, and then obviously setting up on our own and taking what may be a leap of faith, which has hopefully become no looking back.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is no looking back for me. And one of my favourite phrases that I always like to think on is that tomorrow my future self will thank me for the work that I'm doing today. So I'm still very much building my business and growing my business, but every single day I develop my own strengths as a person. I develop what I'm working on. And I think that the support that's given to me from Travel Counsellors with business development, there's always somebody at the end of the phone that I can pick up the phone to if I need any assistance. Message boards and forums from other travel counsellors. I think sometimes maybe somebody walks into your high street store and you're working on an inquiry, maybe it's a destination that you're not particularly familiar with, you would call on the support of your colleagues. So just because you're a home worker doesn't make that any difference. There's so much support that you can call on and gain advice from other people. So no looking back, very much looking forward to the future. And I hope that although this is such a sad situation that we're in, that perhaps you can see that it's time to look towards the next chapter of your life and see what's in store for your own future.
And that, I suppose, may or may not be at or within Travel Counsellors. And I think that's the important distinction that I want to make, that if we truly care about our fellow travel professionals, the wider team here at our head office in Venus have put together Thomas Cook Care events. And if we could bring up some of those dates and locations on the screen, that would be great. We've put a series of care events into place for these events over the coming days, as well as you can see in Peterborough this Wednesday, tomorrow, in Nottingham on Thursday, in Liverpool also on Thursday, in Glasgow and Manchester on Friday as well, and more events to follow, and we'll leave them up on screen and we'll rotate the screens if necessary as well for you to get a chance to pencil in or write down what may be most applicable or eligible for you. But the clear distinction that I wanted to set was that isn't Travel Counsellors saying, come join us. That is and maybe an option for many of you, but we more want to put on events that we say we care. And we're involving external stakeholders to look at things like mindset, to look at things like how you position yourself to be employable going forward, and dust off that CV and update that CV. Back to me if you don't mind. And update that CV and update any profiles that you have on social media to make sure that you are right and relevant and positioning yourself and your skills for what it is you want to do next. And that, as I say, may or may not be at Travel Counsellors. Leanne, in that respect, in terms of upskilling individuals to be employable and to seek future employment or to do their own thing, like in a franchise environment like Travel Counsellors, what does that look like and what can they look forward to at those Thomas Cook Care events?
So much. I think we've already held one here today. Part of our drop-in session actually turned into a career management session. The ladies who were here were absolutely fantastic, very upset on occasion, as were we. But just to reiterate what Jim is saying about the care and part of the parcel and the package that we are going to provide. We are talking about CV writing, interview techniques, how we react to change from a change curve perspective. I was speaking to the ladies earlier and again myself 2 years ago. You don't think you're going to be unemployed, so you don't tend to have your CV up to date, which really you probably should. And also we talked about our own value, and it's quite difficult to talk about how fantastic you are, even if you don't think you are. And on a CV you need to write everything down to what your strengths, abilities, attributes, skill set. So we'll be talking about that along with other items throughout our presentation. And it's also to say that when we do talk about the change curve, you are going to be in shock for a little while. Everyone's different. I was in shock for about 2.4 seconds because I literally knew that I had to make a difference. I lost my job amongst other employees who were very similar to me. There's only so many roles out there, and I wanted to make an impact straight away. And I'll be really honest with you, it was from a selfish perspective. I'm a mum, I'm married, I've got 2 children. I've got a lot to give, and I wanted to let other industries within the travel organisations know exactly what I was worth. So I did plenty of stuff and made sure that I was out there, LinkedIn, all different social media platforms. The one thing that I would have loved though, when I first got the news, was for someone to sit me down and tell me, here it is, this is the deal, we need to look at your mindset, because you're running around chasing all sorts. Immediately you're told to go and sign on in the job centre, which of course you need to do. That's because you need to put in for redundancy, which I'd never done before. I was on the phone for 24 hours talking to different people and through the government, my representatives, and I just needed someone to stop me and just say, right, listen, here's the deal. So I've just put a slide together just to go through some mindset techniques which might be helpful to you guys. And again, it's something that I really wish that I had the opportunity. Fantastic. So when I talk about pace, purpose and plan, pace means fast, obviously. It means, making sure that you're out there. But for me, it was more that, let's do something about it, and let's do something about it now. There's a point on the change curve where you actually hit a point where you go from shock to denial to acceptance to development. And there was a point where I thought, right, I've got to get this started now. I need to get myself out there and publicise myself. I also needed a purpose. I was a service excellence manager, had been for a good few years. So I was I was a manager within the organisation, quite lucky to have that role. And that all of a sudden I was Leanne, I was Mia and Luca's mum, I was Rob's wife, I was Lillian and Peter's daughter. I didn't have that status anymore. I was the same as a captain. We were the same as regards to rank because we didn't have a position. So I needed that purpose. So with that I needed a plan. So my plan was making sure that I was organised and I made sure that I had a tick list. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I needed the people I wanted to network with, I did. If I wanted to see friends and family to make me feel grounded, to make me feel wanted even, acknowledged, I made sure I did that. And I think Rebecca alluded to something really, really important. It's now the time when you can actually decide who you want to be and choose that best version of yourself to take forward. This might be the only opportunity you get. There's a term, kick up the bum. Not that I think that's what happened to me, but actually you could become very institutionalised in an organisation that you've been in for 20 years plus. Is now the time to make that change, is now that time to make sure that you do what you want to do. I also, not that I do it now, when I lost my job, I went to the gym like 3 or 4 times a week. I do go to the gym, but I don't do it as much as I used to. And that really helped my mindset. It helped the endorphins around my body. It made me feel great. I reconnected in group exercise. So we had coffees after the exercise sessions. And it's very important to nurture your well-being at this point. There are going to be times that you feel quite low and upset. And that's when you're going to need to use the people around you and actually take a look at yourself in the mirror and say, I know I can do better than this. I know I can get out there and be who I want to be. And that's how you will build on your resilience. Because when you have hardship and you have hard times, it's how you react to those hard times that makes you the person that you become. Don't become a victim to a situation that you're not in control of. Guys, you're not in control of this, but you are in control of your behaviour. So now's the time to think about that. Which goes on to the straight point, change what you can and accept what you can't. I think one of the biggest things for me is that I took full responsibility for everyone. I took responsibility for Monarch Airlines. I took responsibility for the passengers that were away from home, and actually that wasn't my fault. I had to look after myself and my family, and that was the one thing I needed to do. And then to reach out and take a leap into the unknown. It's a leap of faith. Jim's already said it. Very lucky, I'd seen the position for Travel Counsellors it was before we got the email actually from the CEO, and I seen this perfect opportunity and I just grabbed it with both hands. And finally, just surround yourself in the people who make you feel like a champion. For me, it was my mum and dad. I didn't have a leavers party with Monarch, obviously, but my mum and dad's friend took me down the pub and we had my leavers party there. Mm-hmm. So it's closure to a situation. If you can make it to a care event, I promise you will feel better when you leave it. And as Jim says, it's not all about joining this organisation. It's about you making the best of a situation that doesn't feel so good at the moment.
I love that perspective from someone who has experienced maybe what you are thinking and feeling right now. I'm not going to try and relate. I'm just going to say that there's different stages, but having that purpose, having that get up and go, and having hopefully people like us who say, here's some direction, here's a helping hand, here's a coffee and a chat, here's some career advice, here's a potential role, here's a potential opportunity, here's something in the face of maybe nothing, is helpful and supportive. We prioritise people in this organisation. It's why I joined, and it's why I love the Travel Counsellors community. And we prioritise our customers. And actually, when we bring in travel counsellors, and we'll come to Ashley in a little while, but when we bring in travel counsellors, they come with, in all different shapes and sizes, they come with all different backgrounds, all different motivations. And all we ask is, how can we help you change your life for the better? And I think that's a great question to ask. And it's hopefully a question that at one point we asked another one of our travel counsellors who's Skyping in, videoing in, and that's Joanne Harrison. Joanne, are you there?
Hi, Jim. Are you okay?
I'm really well, Joanne. Really well, Joanne. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. Yeah, all okay.
I can hear you also, Joanne. Thanks for messaging in. Please set the scene for our viewers. Where did you come from, and why did you come to us?
Well, I came from Thomas Cook, and I was made redundant from Cook 6 years ago, when at that point they had to save quite a lot of money. So they made quite a lot of the managers redundant, and they did a shop closure at that point. So that's when I joined Travel Counsellors 6 years ago.
Okay, and at some point you thought, well, maybe you felt your hand was forced, or maybe you didn't know that Travel Counsellors was an option. Help with that segue for the people who are sitting fresh with the information of redundancy and no further employment at Thomas Cook's, and bridge that gap between when you were there to where you are now.
It was a shock. We were told one day that, you know, the jobs were gone and we were going to be made redundant. But then after the news, it was sort of, you know, but you've got so many weeks and you'll be told in what's going to happen. So we were a bit in limbo. It wasn't as quick for us that it has been for, you know, everybody else. And I've just got to say, I'm so sorry. I feel so sorry for the staff that have been affected by this. But as soon as I got the news, Travel Counsellors was always something that I wanted to do. And I looked at it previously, but couldn't manage to do it, you know, at that point. But as soon as I got told I was being made redundant, I thought, right, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So I took a leap of faith, and my family were behind me. My family knew I could do it. But, you know, when you're just a bit nervous, you think, can I do it? Can I not do it? And 6 years later, and I've got a good business, and I've never looked back. And people say to me, you know, would you ever consider going back to the high street? And I said, no. This is it for me now. This is my business, and yeah, and it's you know, I'm 6 years down, so but I would never go back to the high street, and I've never looked back like the other lady. I've never looked back.
And listen, two things I want to pick up on. One, firstly, is your humility. You're a fantastic travel counsellor, and you've got a great business, and I know you've recently went on our Going for Gold programme, which is available for everyone, but as additional support. We're a high touch, flexible working business, and hopefully Joanne can testify to this, in that when you come into Travel Counsellors, we only succeed if you do. So it is in our concerted interest, and we are only programmed and organised to completely and totally support you as a travel counsellor. So over 6 years, we have hopefully supported your growth, but it has taken your own dedication, your own hard work and your own ambition to achieve the levels that you have achieved. So don't be too humble. You've got a fantastic business, was point one. And point two was, you could have chose anyone, Joanne. Why did you choose us?
To be honest, I never looked around for any other company. I knew a travel counsellor. She was local to where my shop was. So it was a no-brainer to me, to be honest, that I just thought they're a local company. They were in Bolton at the time. I was based in the Rosendale area. I live in Burnley. I knew a local travel counsellor, so I got in touch with her, had a chat. And to be honest, like I said, I never looked at another company, and that was me. My made up, this is where I'm going, and that is my future. And like you said, the support that I've had from day one with the business development and the induction at that point, it was fabulous. And you know, when we first got sent home, if you will, I felt like a new starter. it was completely different. Even though I'd had years and years of experience, it was completely different. I thought, oh, this is it. I felt like a complete new starter all over again. But you soon get into the thing of it. The bit I missed most at the time was the team, because you are at home. You know, you're thrown into this environment where you're on your own. And you think, I've nobody, but it's not the case. There's so much support. There's business development. You do make friends easy. You're on an induction with other people. There's always somebody to pick up the phone to or Skype to. So that quickly went. You know, that being that you're alone. It's not that. You know, you have got lots of support, and the support continues, like you said, through different programs. They're going for gold. Accelerator, and it's a continuous journey. You know, there's always somebody in the business development to help you. You know, there's departments, if you're stuck and you don't know what to do, you just pick up the phone and ask. So you're not alone. Even though it's your own business, you were never alone in this company.
I think that's really poignant. It's really important to set another distinction that travel counsellors don't compete with each other. And they're all travel professionals trying to grow their own businesses, working flexibly with great support, and thanks for testifying to that, Joanne. But don't compete with each other. But strangely, and I hope the viewers can relate to this, we've formed a community like none other I have ever experienced. And as I say, when you join Travel Counsellors, you're amongst friends. Certainly, if you come from a Thomas Cook background, you're definitely amongst friends, because you will know people who are in this organisation. But you are amongst friends, and that global gathering is at fever pitch in November when we get together for our conference. It's this year in Media City in Manchester. And the invite on the Thomas Cook Care events that we mentioned earlier is for the here and now. But that invite extends to any events that we have going forward. And our marquee event, which happens in November, which we'll provide information about as well, and which will be available on people.travelcounsellors.com, which is our website that you can find out more about those roadshows, more about the November conference, and any of our upcoming events as well. And there's also a telephone number that you can call in at any point. And I've, in many respects, almost saved a bit of the best to last, because we do have Ashley Butler on the couch. And Ashley has the privileged job and the privileged position of changing people's lives for the better. Actually putting into action what we have talked about today, and joining people who come from non-travel and travel backgrounds, like many of you watching now, certainly from Thomas Cook's with travel backgrounds, and letting them become and explore what it is like to become a travel counsellor. Ashley, tell us about what you do.
Thanks, Jim, for putting all the pressure on me. Obviously it's been a manic couple of days for us on the new franchise team. We've had lots and lots of phone calls coming in. We've had TCs that have been getting in touch, because obviously a lot of them used to work for Thomas Cook and have a lot of good friends that they're obviously concerned about. The care across the whole of the community, it's been amazing. It really does make you feel part of that family. We always say here at Travel Counsellors we're a family, but I think the travel industry as a whole is very much a family. We do have opportunities available. Most people will already know of Travel Counsellors, and you might have even been in touch before. It might have been something that you've considered but never really kind of had that push or been ready to make the move yourself, and now could be that time. It might not feel like it just now, but we do say when one door closes, another one does open. So please do keep that in mind. Even though it's difficult to actually feel that just now, you will start to feel better. You will start to feel better in time, and hopefully we'll be able to help you with that. So obviously the care events that we're planning, they are going to be kind of cut into two segments. So my colleague, Leanne, will be on hand with me. So Leanne can talk to anybody who's interested in just sort of the practical steps, as Jim mentioned earlier. It can be anything from support with writing your CV, just to getting in touch with agencies, a job centre, anything we can help you with, we will do, because we understand that a lot of you might be interested in attending a care event but aren't necessarily interested in travel counsellors or becoming a home worker, and that's absolutely fine, because it's not for everybody. Now, there will be people that might want to consider us as well. It is a fantastic opportunity, and I'll be there too, and other people from the recruitment team will be there to give you as much information and advice as you need. It's not our job to try and convince you that this is right for you, because it might not be. But it is our, we can give you as much information as you need. We can answer all your questions. Something I have noticed is a lot of you aren't really ready to be even thinking about this yet, let alone talking about it. So we do understand how difficult it is. We've had a lot of conversations with people that can barely get the words out, and we understand that. We totally get that this is a huge process. You need time to kind of go through everything. If you want information from us just to sort of read through for now, we can do that. If you are ready to have those conversations, then we're here, we're on hand, and we can talk to you about all the support that we do offer to our home workers. We can put you in touch with travel counsellors that maybe have even joined us from Thomas Cook. I think it's really good to speak to somebody that's been there, may have been in your shoes before, and just give you that information. So if it is something that you do wish to consider, we can make sure you're making an informed decision and support you through the process.
Fantastic, Ashley. Listen, they aren't expecting this, but we've had such great input from the people on the couch, and Joanne messaging in as well. So we'll kick off with Leanne and say, what's the one piece of advice that you'd give at this moment in time, Leanne?
I would say be very kind to yourself.
Very kind to yourself. That's really helpful. Joanne, dialing in, what do you say for those viewers at home who are thinking about what next? What's the one piece of advice you'd give?
I'd talk to other people. Just reach out and speak to other people and tell them how you feel and help. Maybe we can help or point you in the right direction. But just get in touch and talk to other people.
Very good, Rebecca. Any sage advice?
I'm a real believer in gut instinct and knowing what your heart's telling you. So as much as we can give you all the facts and figures of how we can help grow your business, I think that voice inside your head will tell you if this is the right opportunity for you.
Fantastic, Rebecca. Ashley, back to you.
I think from me, it's don't let this, the current circumstances affect your love and passion for travel. What we have noticed, all the people we're speaking to, they're so loyal to Thomas Cook. People have been there for 20, 30 years. Don't throw that all away because of what's happened. If you've got that love for travel and it's in your blood, use that. There's a lot of people that will be looking for your kind of skills and experience, so don't give up.
I'll finish by saying that we care and we aim to care more than anyone else. Hopefully that's came across on this broadcast. Listen, please stay tuned for 30 seconds more so you can see the slides of the information of those Thomas Cook Care events, where they are and where they're happening, and the email and contact details to get in touch with us. If we just help point you in the right direction, whether it's here, there, or wherever your future lies, it will be caring more than anyone else at this important time for you and your families. From my perspective, I wish you all the success. If I meet you in person, please say that you watched the broadcast and got something from it. And if I don't get to ever speak to you, please know now that there is light at the end of the tunnel and there are options and opportunities for you all. All the success and good luck.